Welcome to Headline Hunting, where we read between the lines with some of the top stories in the world of mixed martial arts, and joined, as always, by my man John Morgan, all the way in Las Vegas, Nevada. John, a lot of talk this weekend in that main event between Daniel Cormier and Anthony Rumble Johnson. There are people who are saying that the winner of this fight is not going to be the true light heavyweight champion. I disagree. It's not their fault that John Jones did what he did. I think the winner of this fight is the champ. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, Joe. The biggest thing is, and I don't mean to pick on John Jones with this, but this was not a Dominic Cruz situation with a knee injury or something like that could have been avoided. I mean, this was a moral choice that he made that was wrong, and obviously it's been a series of moral choices and mistakes that he's made. So he's got to pay the price for that now. Is John Jones still the best 205-pound fighter on the planet? Yes, he is. I mean, I agree with that. The guy is a stud. He's one of the top pound-for-pound fighters on the planet. But the winner of this fight is absolutely the legitimate UFC champion. I don't think you need to put an asterisk by the belt. I don't think you need to call him an interim champion. I think they're absolutely the champion. Now, I think from public criticism point of view, if Anthony Johnson wins, I think he's going to face a lot less criticism than Daniel Cormier, who of course lost to John Jones. But regardless of what happens, the winner of this fight is definitely a champion. And then of course, I think we all wish John Jones the best, because I think regardless of what happens in this fight, I think we want to see John Jones face the winner, assuming that he can get through his legal issues, assuming that he can get his personal life straightened out. That'll be a big fight.
Absolutely, and this bout goes down in Nevada, and recently a court in Nevada overturned the whole situation with Wanderlei Silva getting rid of that lifetime ban, in essence. Your thoughts on this?
It's funny because I sat through the entire, multi-hour court hearing that was basically the legal battle that set the precedent for this, and I think they made the right choice here. I mean, I'm definitely no legal expert, man. I'm just a mixed martial arts journalist. But sitting there and listening to everything, I think they addressed the arguments correctly, which is, number one, does Wanderlei Silva fall under the judicial obligation of the Nevada State Athletic Commission? I think he does. I mean, even though he wasn't licensed at the time, he was actually actively promoting a fight. He was, basically saying, listen, on this date, I'm going to fight this opponent. And at that point, to me, you're a mixed martial artist in the state of Nevada, whether or not you've actually filled out the paperwork to get your license or not. So I think the drug test was right. Now, the lifetime ban, I don't know. I mean, that was a little bit unprecedented. That there wasn't a full hearing, and that's what's going to happen now. So believe it or not, I think this was a pretty wise judgment by the court. I think the NSAC had the right to make a ruling. Maybe they ruled a little too stringently because they were upset, but now Wanderlei Silva is going to get his day in front of the commission. I think this is the right way to handle it, and it looks like maybe when he does go before the commission, I don't think he'll have to face those new harsher penalties. I think he'll be able to argue that everything happened before those new penalties were in place. I think he'll probably get about a year ban and probably get time served for that. So I think by the time he goes in front of the commission, he'll probably be able to be done with it.
Well, from mixed martial artists in Nevada to mixed martial artists in New Jersey, and Frankie Edgar, who was victorious in the Philippines over Uriah Faber, the question is, does he A, deserve a title shot? My answer is yes to that. But B, will he get a title shot in 2015? It almost feels like the only way Frankie Edgar will fight for that title is if he pulls up that video game for the UFC. I kind of feel bad for this guy.
Yeah, he absolutely deserves the title shot. There's no way around it, man. He absolutely deserved it. Beating Uriah Faber the way he did, shutting him out, I mean, he definitely deserves a title shot. Here's what I think it boils down to, and I hate to say this for Frankie Edgar, but I think it boils down to whether or not Aldo beats McGregor or not. I mean, if McGregor wins, I think you set up the immediate rematch with Jose Aldo, assuming Jose Aldo comes out of that healthy and unscathed. Obviously, Jose Aldo has been hurt from time to time, but I think if Conor McGregor wins that fight, you're going to see an immediate rematch, and that's going to put Frankie at the sidelines. But listen, if he does get pushed off, wouldn't mind seeing a Frankie Edgar Chad Mendes fight. I think fans would love that fight. Whether or not Frankie Edgar wants to take that fight, I don't know, because Chad Mendes is super, super dangerous as an opponent. But I guess the short answer is yes, Frankie Edgar absolutely deserves the next shot at the title. Will he get it? Man, I think we have to wait till July 11th to decide.
Yeah, don't get me started on Frankie Edgar versus Chad Mendes. I'd love to see that fight. But we'll move forward now to the Cowboy, Donald Cerrone, who's taking on John Makdessi. And people are saying, look, if you defeat John Makdessi, Cowboy, you don't deserve a title shot. This guy will have like 7 victories in a row. I mean, your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know how you can say that. I mean, it's certainly not Donald Cerrone's fight that Khabib Nurmagomedov got hurt. I mean, had he beat Khabib Nurmagomedov, there would be no argument. I mean, I just don't see how there could be any issue whatsoever. But, Donald Cerrone, the thing we love about the Cowboy is that anybody, anytime, anywhere mentality. But I think that's a two-way street. I mean, probably, I guess, if Cowboy was making a more strategic approach, the thing would have been to turn down this fight with John Makdessi. And heck, if he turns down the fight with John Makdessi, you might even make an argument that he gets the title shot now because Nurmagomedov is hurt. So I don't see how you can take away from him for taking this fight. So, yeah, listen, I think you got to give him the title shot if he wins this fight. And it's not based on the fact that he beat John Makdessi. You're not giving him that because of that win. You're giving it because of the entire body of work and what he's done to get to this point. So, yeah, absolutely. I don't think you can stand in Cowboy's way if he wins this fight.
All right, let's head on over to the main event and the co-main event this weekend for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. We'll start off with the middleweight championship fight between Chris Weidman, undefeated, against Vitor Belfort. We know speed kills, but this is the post-TRT era. There's questions that are going to be surrounding Vitor Belfort, and will he have that speed? Will he have that strength? What will he look like? We already know what Chris Weidman's going to look like. Your thoughts on that co-main event?
Listen, man, I think Chris Weidman's a beast. I mean, the guy's the real deal. He's so big and strong, and his grappling is incredible. Both his wrestling and his transitions into jiu-jitsu. Striking's not too bad either. He's steadily improving there. I've got to admit, I've realized this week, for whatever reason, there's a part of me that wants to see Vitor Belfort win this fight. Maybe it's nostalgia. I don't know what it is, but there's a part of me that would like to see Vitor Belfort as UFC champion, but man, that is a tough mountain to climb. I got to go with Chris Weidman. I just think he's too much.
Main event, light heavyweight championship of the world. Daniel Cormier getting a second crack at the title. Anthony Johnson getting his first shot at UFC championship gold. Now, when you think about this for a second, I'll tell you this right now, John. I don't see this fight going the distance. I think there is going to be a stoppage, whether it's Anthony Rumble Johnson landing a monster cross or something, head kick, something that'll stop Daniel Cormier, or DC sucks the will to win out of Anthony Rumble Johnson and ends this thing in the championship rounds. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't see this thing going 25 minutes either. And you know what? I'm going with Anthony Rumble Johnson. The man has silenced me. He's answered every question I have. I just keep thinking about his performance in Sweden and just the way he handled Alexander Gustafsson and the way he did it. And really, honestly, the way he was fight week, just where he is mentally. It's incredible. I mean, being around Anthony Johnson, man, there's just this peace about him right now and this comfort. And I don't even know how to describe it exactly. But, I mean, it's just a confidence that you can't fake. And, Daniel Cormier took this fight on short notice. He's got a lot of things going on in his life. Certainly has all the outside of the cage activities, and I don't want to take anything away from him. I think DC is, rightfully a top contender and deserves to be in this fight. But you know what? I'm done doubting Rumble. I'm going to take Anthony Johnson. I think he lands one of those huge shots that he's capable of doing. I think he finishes this fight with his fists.
All right, fans, do you agree with John or do you agree with me? Do you want to join in the conversation? Make sure you hit me up on social media, be it Twitter, Instagram, or on Facebook. My hashtag, or excuse me, the handle is @ShowdownJoe. The hashtag is Headline Hunting. John, thank you very much today. I know it's early in Las Vegas, but thank you very much for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother.